Tarps Off Sports.
Here we go. Sam, what is going on? Chris Mancuso here along with Sam Wass. Sam, what's going on, man? A lot of transfer stuff going on. Obviously, you being an Arsenal guy, me being a Tottenham guy, we're in the thick of the transfer stuff. You know, got a little bit of a late start because of the Euros and that, you know, so Harry Kane situation at Tottenham will start right off the hop. Yesterday, he's due back to the team to undergo some COVID testing as well as give like blood work, typical things to get yourself kicked back into the quick little preseason and into the season. He doesn't show up. It turns out he's on holiday. He is under the impression that them and Tottenham have a gentleman's agreement, where he believes last year he was led to believe that if they didn't make the Champions League, he could leave. Now, that's never a popular thing for a player to just not turn up to work. Do you think Kane is doing the right thing here, given like all the history he has with Tottenham? I mean, he's been there since a kid. I am going to give my take on this, but I mean, as an Arsenal guy, you kind of got to be liking seeing this.
Yeah, he's a listen, as the club captain, right? And, you know, 10 plus years of service, any fan of, you know, their club wouldn't want to see their captain do this, right? Like, it's their captain. The same situation with Granit Xhaka 2 years ago. He threw the armband. No one wanted to see him play for the club. At this point, I feel like it's sort of it leaves Spurs fans with a sour taste in your mouth. I don't know how you feel about that. Like your own club captain just not showing up to training and telling Daniel Levy basically to fuck off. Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on it are, I understand you want the move. I think he's earned the right to get the move. Mm-hmm. But when you look at what's happening, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, so I don't want to bump it up. But you look at Jack Grealish, he's going to leave Aston Villa at all. It looks like, you know, with Man City around there, he would obviously love to go. He still turns up to training. I don't understand what Harry Kane benefits from this. The guy signed a 6-year contract extension in 2018. He still has 4 years left on his deal. Yep. We're talking about a guy who isn't really standing from a power, like he's not in the position, the powerful position right now due to a choice that he made to sign such a long-term extension. Now, listen, it doesn't sound like at all that Man City's going to be willing to come up near to that 160 million pound valuation that Daniel Levy has. So with all the situation you have there, the boyhood club, a guy who, in my opinion, even if he left, would be known as one of the great Tottenham players of all time.
Yeah, he has to be.
Listen, it's not a great decision. I think he's getting some bad advice. I know his brother's his agent, and when you get a contract that pays £400,000 a week, or as opposed to £200,000 a week, I'm sure he's getting a lot of skin in that. So this stuff can all be manufactured. But what I'll say is, I don't think it was a great decision for Harry Kane to not show up and train. I think he has every right to put in a transfer request if he wants to and do it that way, but to not show up and not, fulfill your obligation with your contract, I think is a bad look. And I think that's why it wasn't perceived very well with the Tottenham fans. I think that he's going to fold eventually. I imagine the fine they're going to give him is going to be quite large because, I mean, listen, he's under contract. It's not like
he can't just do what he pleases, right? But
and it's like you don't really get to drive the bus until there's about 18 months left in your deal, and they get worried about you maybe leaving on a free. Like, he's still a while away from that. You look at coming off of a year where there was a year and a half, 18 months of not really having fans in the stands. I mean, I see why Man City won't go up to that crazy 160 million pound thing. I just don't feel like this is the right offseason for Harry Kane to move. I think he should show up this year, put up stats again, prove that he's not injury prone. Because again, if I'm Man City and I look at Erling Haaland and going to have a release clause next offseason. I
Yep.
signed Jack Grealish and I wait for that anyway. He's 21 years old. Harry Kane's 28. By next year, he'll be 29. Little bit of a wonky ankle. So my position on it is, careful what you wish for sometimes in this game. And careful how you conduct yourself, because Daniel Levy, everybody knows, is a hard ass. And
business.
I think when he did that interview with Neville, it
Mhm.
pissed people off then, him not showing up. I think they would just sit there and make him play now. I really think he played this all wrong.
With the whole situation, right? It's a little bit
Yeah.
too out in the open.
Yeah, I think he should have handled it a lot more internally. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. There's nothing that Daniel Levy and Tottenham love more than digging in, and he loves trying to have this "I'm a hard guy to deal with" persona. He like eats that up. You know what I mean? So 100%. When he's there eating that up, I don't know, man. I think that Harry Kane's going to find himself in a tough position, and I don't think I don't think they're going to sell him.
Now but he needs to, like you said, have a good season and prove himself. And then, next season, hopefully Levy can come down to about like the 115 mark, a little bit less than 120. I think that's a little bit doable for Man City. It's 100% doable, right?
And it's all 100% doable. Now, the hard thing is Tottenham and Man City would gladly use players as catchweights, but when you're at Man City winning trophies, winning this and that, why are you going to leave? And this is no disrespect, I'm a Tottenham fan,
project,
but why are you leaving to come to Tottenham where they're sitting in like the third Europa, the brand new Europe division?
Yeah, the Europa Conference League.
Yeah, the Conference League. That's tough, but jokes. I gotta say though, now we'll move on from Harry Kane a little bit. The Serie A Defender of the Year, Christian Romero, set to sign for 50 million euros deal plus add-ons with Tottenham. He's set to fly to London. Personal terms agreed. The Atlanta was able to get another central defender in from Juventus. So that ends up opening up the door for Christian Romero to get the switch that he did push for on Monday. He went in and formally put in his request and let his desires be known that he wanted to add the Tottenham project. After Toby Alderweireld hurt himself at Tottenham, he was never the same. They haven't had a great center back. I think this is a massive
upgrade
hole for them that's upgraded now. And a guy certainly sitting in a great position in Christian Romero to continue to grow his career. And, Tottenham, eventually you can they're a great stepping stone club. Real Madrid and everybody love picking from there.
Yep, exactly. And so with the Romero deal, right? Like 50 million pounds. What's your take as a Tottenham fan? And 50 million pounds being allocated to the center back position. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I think it's exactly what they need. I think Sanchez and Dyer were a disaster at times last season. You saw the late goals given up. It really became a theme and a problem that they were just a step behind. I think Christian Romero really solidifies the center back position. Now, by all accounts, I do think Davinson Sanchez will move this window. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tottenham bring in actually another center back, someone like maybe Cody from Wolves.
I like
that
him.
I know.
I like him.
Nuno has a great history with
relationship. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Someone like that. I do think Tottenham will go back into the market for another center back. I think they're going to revamp the whole defense. So we'll see. But man, you know what? In past windows, when Mauricio Pochettino wanted a guy like Ruben Diaz and he wanted Bruno Fernandes and all these guys, he always wanted to spend money on, and Daniel Levy would nickel and dime it. I know that they have the new director now.
Yeah, the new, yep.
He's more willing to pay that price. If he really thinks a player is good, you just shut up and pay the price. The price is the price. It's not going to change. And I've liked that approach from Tottenham. You saw them get Gillen at a good deal around Eric Lamela as well. Yep. So exactly. It seems like they're moving with a little more urgency and pace than you have seen from Tottenham in the last few years in the transfer window. 100%. It's not bad. But speaking of Man City, poking around the Harry Kane situation, a lot quicker than that. No, sorry guys. I don't know why my kids keep breaking in the middle of this here. Jack Grealish situation here is is a crazy one. He's a great player. He actually loves Aston Villa. He
Yeah.
loves playing at Villa.
Yep.
He appreciates, the way they've treated him. It's never been anything but great. So he's not going to force a move. He showed up, but he does want to join Man City. Man City are willing to pay £100 million by the sound of it for Jack Grealish. I think that is much more realistic. Much more realistic than the Harry Kane deal.
I think Grealish, he's at this point in his career where he's showed what he can do. He's proven himself domestically and internationally. And now he's, you can only go so long and play for your boyhood club. And, when you're not really challenging for silverware, I feel like this move is the most realistic, next step in his career for Grealish. And like you said, it's just a little bit, you're not dealing with, Daniel Levy at Aston Villa. You're dealing with, people who want to actually do business. Like Aston Villa have one of the richest owners in the Premier League. And you've seen with this Leon Bailey, they've agreed terms with Leon Bailey from the Bundesliga, the Jamaican international. And, he had a great season. And it just shows that, even with Villa making a sale, they're still, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. You give them another 100 million, you could see how, what they do with that squad. But I think it's a little bit more realistic than
I don't think it's possible for them to sign both players this window. I'm just going to come flat
not at
out
all.
and say it.
Not at all.
I don't see that.
Financial fair play. When does that come into?
There's already talks that they're kind of being sniffed around for some financial stuff with some young players. So I think that they'll think better of that. And like I said, just for someone to want to leave City to go to a Tottenham, and it's never going to happen to an Aston Villa. They can't use a player like Sterling or Bernardo Silva to catch weight at Grealish deal. They're going to be paying cash for either England international. Now bringing it to the other side of Manchester United have had quite a transfer window. They signed Rafael Varane from Real Madrid, 4 Champions Leagues. This guy has an absolute winning pedigree. Wanted to try another project. Real Madrid we're happy to accommodate that, and that was a deal that got done pretty quick. And in my opinion, a great price too. What, 38 million pounds or something like that?
And when you
actually, that's a great piece of business for Man United.
100%. I mean, with add-ons and everything like that, it comes, through the years and in his contract.
It depends on, but a lot of those add-ons are trophy related, right? So if you got to give an extra complimented $1 million because you won the Champions League, who cares, right? You'll gladly pay it. Getting Real Madrid to let him go was a big step for Manchester United. I think that they are really looking to secure themselves back in that top conversation.
And let me just say, I think a lot of these top clubs, that usually have no problem bringing in players, were really affected by COVID. And so, with the likes of Inter Milan, you have Real Madrid, Barcelona, one of the top clubs. All these top clubs are strapped for cash. So this will be a very integral window in terms of, Real Madrid probably didn't want to offload Varane, but they needed the money. So it was interesting, but I think it's a great fit. It's a great deal. Very jealous and envious that could happen for that price. But I mean, it's going to be a nightmare to play Manchester United this season. It's going to be a different sort of match than what it has been. So.
Yeah, I think that they're much improved. Speaking of looking to improve, Chelsea are looking to improve up front with a striker. They have had a bid turned back by Inter Milan. It was 100 million euros, I believe, for Romelu Lukaku plus Marcus Alonso. I believe they actually had Alonso in there, because they know Inter do think highly of Marcus Alonso. Now they have turned it back. Everybody knows, like many clubs across Europe, Inter Milan are in a financial bind. They do anticipate Chelsea's going to come back with a improved bid. So this is one to watch. Now, Now, Lukaku's not trying to force a move. If he gets sold, he will go to Chelsea. If they come up with a deal, he'll sign back at Chelsea. He doesn't mind doing that. But it will not be because he even put an ounce of pressure. He is completely happy over there. But
100% happy.
obviously a chance to come back to Chelsea after they let him go, and to be able to reestablish himself in the Premier League, I think is also an attractive option for the player. Romelu Lukaku is someone to watch as we come down to the final weeks here.
And the thing is, Chris,
transfer window.
If they can't get Lukaku, they're also looking at Erling Haaland. And they've also had multiple bids rejected for Haaland. So it's just interesting to see, they need a number 9. They have a guy like Tammy Abraham who is, rumored to he's either going to West Ham or Arsenal, and they're trying to get 30 million pounds to fund the deal for Haaland or Lukaku. I think if you're one of these clubs, these are great problems to have, because
of course,
if you're Roman Abramovich and you just have fat pockets and you can throw cash like left, right, and center, you could have worse problems than making the decision, for Lukaku or Haaland. It just depends on whose parent club, like Dortmund or Inter Milan, which one is willing to sell first and who needs the money better, who needs the money more. I think that Milan needs the money way more
than Dortmund. Dortmund doesn't need it. So Dortmund doesn't need it. Now, Erling Haaland has a release clause, I think, that comes into play for next season. He's going to stay this year, rip it up over there. And then 100%. I think he'll make his move, which that'll be very interesting to see who's in a position then, because I think there's a lot of striker dominoes to fall still with Kylian Mbappe not leaving Paris Saint-Germain. I know that Real Madrid are watching that. That will not happen this window, but that's something to really monitor moving forward. Speaking of your team, Arsenal, they've officially announced Ben White came in, 50 million euros. Pretty high price, I guess, for a guy coming he was in Scotland, correct?
No, he was actually at Brighton.
Oh, sorry, he was at Brighton. I'm sorry. He was at Brighton.
That's the thing, though, is 50. We're looking at a center back who is English, who plays internationally, and there's just it sucks, but COVID really affected the price of all players.
Absolutely.
And then even more so English, domestic talent. So it's. Listen, we needed a high price to make the deal attractive for Brighton. They weren't going to go anything really.
No. They're not going to give another English club a discount on
exactly.
Anybody.
So that's the thing. So it was, it had to happen. I thought, I just hope that the price tag, and I don't think he's a player that folds the pressure like that. I think he can definitely handle the pressure of having a $50 million price tag on your shoulders. And I think the English media, really push that, like, oh, he's 50 million. Is he going to flop? Is he this? Is he that? And they're comparing him to Varane. And it's like, just let the guy play. He played the one preseason game against Chelsea 2 days ago, came on in the second half. He looked really good. So, and he fits the style of play that Arteta wants to play. Not so much so that Arsenal fans like to see with the playing out of the back, but he can play out of the back. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's kind of what we've needed for years. So let's just see what happens. I think it's a good deal.
Yeah, I think it's a player that they've been desperate for, just like Tottenham. The back lines always lets them down.
Yeah, exactly.
Always lets them down. But we'll see. Arsenal was rumored to be in James Maddison as well. I don't see that happening. I think Martin Odegaard maybe not going back
a little bit more
to Real Madrid, and maybe them letting him go permanently, I think is much more realistic than Maddison.
Much more realistic. And it'll most likely be a loan for Odegaard again. I personally, his end product, he doesn't really have the end product that, a James Maddison has. And, as an Arsenal fan, I just want to see the club, see the club actually throw money at a player like this. And if you have to attract Leicester with a player plus cash, and we have to offer them Ainsley Maitland-Niles, or we have to offer them, someone else, like it's just do it, see what happens, throw the offer out there. I think we've thrown out at this point, I think our most current offer for Maddison is 60 million plus. I say do it. If not, then I say go for Odegaard. Not will I like it? Like not really. Do I agree with it? No. But at this point, we need an attacking midfielder.
Yes.
We just signed Smith Rowe to a contract. He got the number 10 shirt, but we need another playmaking number 10. And I think Madison fits more, but Odegaard, we'll wait and see. But
wait and see, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe here on youtube.com/tarpsoftsports. Until next time, Sam, we'll catch you later, buddy.
Catch you later, guys.